Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we are in the city of Austin today, and I am going to be scoping out some of my favorite scenes from one of my favorite movies, a movie called Dazed and Confused. Now, there's been a handful of movies over the years that kind of are coming-of-age movies. Dazed and Confused, and to a lesser extent, Fast Times at Ridgemont High were kind of the coming-of-age movies that represented my generation. And I find myself years later gravitating towards Dazed and Confused over Fast Times, because Fast Times, I don't know, sometimes seems a little embarrassing and not exactly the representation I would want. But Dazed and Confused, on the other hand, while it's a couple years ahead of me, I graduated from junior high in 1979. This is set in the summer of 1976. This is still a really great movie, and we're going to visit some of the filming locations of them because it was all shot here in Austin, and there's all sorts of fun things to go look at. So let's start. All right, so this is Burnett Junior High School in Austin, and basically this was a scene that popped up a number of times right here, specifically when Randall and some of his buddies were driving around right around here, getting ready for the summer. The coaches were all sitting there waiting there for them and trying to make sure that they were all going to sign their pledge sheet. Now, the pledge sheet was something that basically it said that all the players agreed that they would not take drugs, that they would not do alcohol, or do anything to jeopardize the hard work and dedication that they've taken to a championship season in '76. Well, Randall has no intention of signing that, and once he's given it by the coaches, he basically throws it on the ground over here, and he thinks that's going to be the end of it. But then one of his buddies picks it up and hands it to him again, and he tries to get rid of it again, and later on in the movie it pops up a third time, and it ends up leading to a showdown between Randall and the coach at the end of the movie. And like I said, this is kind of where it all started right here. So this was also kind of the main entrance into the high school that we saw him going into multiple times. It all happened in here. In fact, there was a wood shed there that had an interesting piece of graffiti on it that clearly isn't there anymore. It wouldn't have been appropriate for a high school at the time, or even a junior high school as it actually is. So they replaced that wooden shed right here, and with a brick shed, and I guess they got their trash bins in there. So this is Burnett Junior High, but it's also known in the movie as Lee High School. I'm going to wander around here and see if there's anything else that sticks out and looks interesting. Now, the truth is, I plan to do several things while I'm out on this road trip this week, and my original plan was that this was going to be the last thing I did, and I was going to go do something first, which I'm going to actually do tomorrow. And I decided at the last minute to flip them around, because the thing I'm going to do tomorrow is probably going to work better if I were to do it on a weekday. And today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, and so there could be an issue with crowds and stuff like that if I'm there during the weekend, whereas there wouldn't be quite as many crowds on a weekday, and I hope we'll have a better experience then. There's also the advantage of doing that. I'm wandering around an actual junior high school, and a little later I'm going to wander around an elementary school looking for filming locations, and I figured I'd have a better chance of doing that if I came here on a Saturday and didn't have to deal with the fact that the school is open. So that just kind of shows you what's going on here a little bit, and how you have to kind of be flexible when you're doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, let's wander around, see what we can see. It's funny, I'm kind of looking in some of the windows here, and it looks like they have a lot of the same red, white, and blue decorations that they had in the movie, because I see like some Star Spangled Banner stuff there, some Texas themed stuff here, and of course during that one scene at the beginning there's a picture of Uncle Sam smoking some sort of illegal product with bloodshot eyes that they're all hanging out around. It looks like a lot of that is still here, which is interesting. It wouldn't seem likely that would have not just been something they did for the movie itself, but that it's actually a part of the school itself. Now, one of the things I noticed in the movie, and I didn't realize this until I was doing my research on this, is that like I said, this is a junior high school, not a high school. And so it became really obvious in the movie that the school wasn't really geared towards the high school students. When I started looking at the kids walking up and down the aisles with relative to like the lockers seemed really, really low for high school students, seemed more appropriate for junior high students. And like I said, I never picked up on that until I realized that this isn't actually a high school, that it's a junior high. But I thought that was really, really interesting. I'm going to go look around another side, see if I can see some more of this patriotic stuff on the wall. Yeah, see, here's another angle of one of the hallways here, and you can see a lot of like patriotic imagery. I see JFK over there and Mount Rushmore. I don't know, I think the guy on the right looks a little like Bob Marley, but I don't think that's who that's supposed to be. That doesn't seem to fit in with the theme, does it? And there's MLK, Statue of Liberty, the Unite or Die logo. It's interesting that would end up on the wall in a school in Austin, Texas, but it is what it is, right? All right, so I've taken a lap around the building and didn't really see anything else that looked familiar to me, but I do have to say I was really impressed and really kind of excited to find out they had a whole bunch of those patriotic murals on the wall, because like I said before, I would have assumed that would have just been something that they did for the movie itself, especially since the movie was set in 1976. And that was such a big year in the United States. But apparently a lot of that is really there, and it makes me wonder if that Uncle Sam mural is there. I mean, obviously without the modifications that were in the movie, but makes me wonder, it's probably in there somewhere, and if I can get into the school, it'd be fun to go see if I could do that. But it's a Saturday, that's not going to happen. Let's go see what else we can find. All right, this is a junior high school from the movie. This is the movie where we first kind of meet Mitch and his friends. Mitch becomes kind of the central figure in the whole movie. He's in the process of transferring from junior high to high school. He's gonna be a freshman next year. And we first meet him here when O'Banion and a couple of his buddies drive up on their pickup truck and park right here. Basically, this used to be the bus stop right here. It's been kind of filled in right now, but they drive in their pickup truck and get on the PA of their CB radio and basically say, "All right, all you freshman Fs, this is an easy get out of jail free card for you today. You come down here and you'll only get one licking from each of us. But if you run like cowards, it's gonna be open season on you all summer long. Oh, and Mitchy, yeah, your butt's gonna be purple by the end of the day." And there was a big, I don't know if it was ever there for real, but along here, there was like a big slide that came down here, and there's a scene when the kids are finally leaving on the last day of school, where kids are coming out of the window there, coming down the slide and taking off this way. So yeah, this is definitely a key scene here, and you can see that we lined it up here really well with the actual footage from the movie. But yeah, this was the basic area here. Now there's one more area on campus I want to go look for, and I'm not sure if it's here or somewhere else, but we're going to wander around the campus and look for it, because when the kids finally do start trying to escape, there's a point where you see some kids running down a fence, like a chain link fence, and dropping their books and stuff like that, trying to get out of here, and getting headed off by some of the seniors who are ready to pound on them. So I'm gonna go look for that. I don't know, that may be here or it may be someplace else. It might actually even be here. But, this school may have changed a bit. It has somewhat, but it's still pretty solid. This is definitely where that scene happened. All right, in addition to the beauty of this campus, there's also a bunch of historical markers all over the place. But I don't know, I can't probably take them that seriously because not one of them mentions that Dazed and Confused was filmed here. Alright, so I have done a lap around this building right now and have been unable to find the chain link fence, but it's very possible that it was here because basically it was a bunch of kids coming along a chain link fence here and then trying to scatter across the street into the adjacent neighborhood and being chased by O'Banion and a bunch of the other seniors who were all ready to get their licks in. In fact, it's very possible if this is the location of that fence, then it's very possible that this side of the road here, right here, is where Mitch and his friends got into the car and took off running, being chased by O'Banion and his buddies in the pickup truck. All right, this is Carl Burnett's house. This house actually was kind of a fun, had kind of a fun scene because right after O'Banion and his buddies started chasing Carl and Mitch and Hirschfeld and the rest of them through the city streets trying to capture them and give them the pounding they thought they deserved, Carl and Mitch they come riding down the street here and stop in front of the car, and they run up to the door, and O'Banion is right behind him in the pickup truck. He follows them up to the door and basically makes them each grab a pole on either side of the porch there, so he can get their beating. And at that point, Mitch's mom comes out with a shotgun and chases O'Banion off. And this doesn't sit too well with O'Banion, who is very angry that they got away. And then when Mitch and Carl both poke their head out of the door and are laughing at O'Banion, that just makes him all the more angry. And he ends up walking back to the Emporium, and the movie just goes from there. The anger just keeps building and building and building until, well, you'll see. Now, this next house, I kind of actually had debated a little bit whether I was even going to stop here. This was the location of Mike Newhouse's house. He's the guy that, if you remember in the movie, he wanted to be the ACLU attorney, but then decided he didn't really like the people that he'd be defending, and decided at one point that what he wanted to do for his life was that, I want to dance. Yeah, that was him. He lived in a house at this location. Unfortunately, about a year or two ago, the owners of this house completely remodeled the house, and it doesn't look like this at all. In fact, the only thing now that I'm looking at the finished product, when I was scoping this out, doing the research, I was looking at kind of a partially completed project, and was really hard to tell a little bit what was going on. But now that they finished, I do think that those wood frame things were in front of the door in the house, kind of over here, and I think they probably moved them over there, to kind of maybe have a little homage to what the house originally was. But this house doesn't look anything like what it used to look like. So, like I said, we're going to mention it in passing, but don't expect to go look at the movie and say, oh yeah, that's clearly this house, because, well, it isn't really the same house anymore. All right, it's kind of funny. The next scene, I'm convinced that it had taken place on one of the school campuses that they use, but it actually happened here. While the boys were out pummeling the initiates on their side, the girls were having their own initiation ritual too, and it was happening right here. You may recall in the movie where they were laying the girls down on the ground and pouring flour and eggs and ketchup and mustard and spraying it all over them, and then making them humiliate themselves by proposing to different guys who are watching this all take place. That all happened right here. In fact, you can kind of see some of this curb here in the scene and that curb there. And of course, this trellis work here has changed a little bit, but that was pretty much the same here too. And it seemed to me that it was like a movie theater or something like that. It kind of looks a little like a movie theater right now. And out there where it says Austin Public Library, it seemed to have a movie ad for a movie called The Family Plot. So that was all happening right here. And kind of interesting to be here, because this is all where it kind of took place. You know, where the girls were having to propose to the guys right here, who are sitting there watching the whole thing go on. And some of the seniors were being real jerks while others were trying to understand and help the girls get through all this. Yeah, this is a great scene here. One of the things I like about the movie is that there's a lot of great music in it, and the music for this scene is "Why Can't We Be Friends? Why Can't We Be Friends?" Yeah, which is a perfect thing when the seniors are humiliating the new incoming freshmen. So yeah, that's what happened here. All right, so this is the scene in the movie after the hazing scene with the ladies in the parking lot, where they got flour and eggs and ketchup and mustard and all that stuff all over them. To further torture them, the seniors took the girls, put them in the back of a pickup truck, and drove through this car wash. Now, this car wash has been modified quite a bit, because what there used to be is a little track system, and a little robot would go around and spray water on the vehicle from all angles. That's clearly been removed over the years, but that's how that used to work. And this is where it happened, right here. This one, and actually the one next to it, because we actually see a car coming through into this one, and then turning around and going back into this one here. And like I said, these two used to have a track that went around and sprayed water on the vehicle from all angles. Now, apparently they've modified this thing somewhat, and now it's got 3 extra wash stations here, but without the track, because apparently they removed the stuff on the track before and just did a hose that you can move all the way around the vehicle. But yeah, this was the place. I remember the girls going through here and saying, "Oh, it's cold, it's cold." Now, they've changed this a little bit since the movie, because it's got metal walls now. Used to look like in the movie that had plastic or smoked glass or something around the outside edges. So, like I said, this was the one I was least sure about, because when I looked at it on the map, it wasn't really obvious how you got into it. But turns out there's just a little road that comes off the main road here, and this is how you get into it. And apparently it's still in operation, because there's people on the other side right now that are vacuuming out their cars. Now, I haven't seen anybody go through here and do the actual car wash thing, but yeah, you can see where the tracks used to be. Well, the tracks still are, from the mechanism that went around. So that was kind of interesting. All right, this is Pickford's house. Now, Pickford, in the beginning of the movie, was planning on having a big kegger party at his house, at this house here. And he was doing it basically because it was the last day of school, and because his parents were going out of town for the weekend. The problem is, the guy delivering the keg delivered it a couple hours early before the parents had left, and that basically let the parents know what was going on, and realized that he was planning on having a party here tonight. And so first time we see this house, there's a car in the driveway over here, and Pickford's mom is helping load stuff into it, and Pickford and a couple of his friends come across, meet and greet mother here, and then there's like a walkway right in front of the hedge there. In fact, at one point, Slater, who's so stoned, isn't paying attention to what he's doing. He ends up cutting the corner, ends up stepping on a bush coming in there. And that kind of makes, they go in there, they do their thing, and all of a sudden Pickford's father comes up, knocks on his door and says, "Hey, did you order a keg of beer? There's a guy out here that's got a keg of beer, wants to deliver." And Pickford's trying to come up with some sort of an excuse why it wasn't him. And ends up going to see what's going on, and he walks out the front door, meets the guy who's unloading the keg right here, and finally creates the impression that he has made the delivery guy realize that it was the wrong address, but clearly it was the right address, and the dad knows it and says, "You're having a party here tonight, aren't you?" And he says, "Unpack the car, we're not going anywhere." And then the rest of the movie is kind of fun because it's a bunch of teenagers coming up to the door, ringing the doorbell, expecting a party, and then running off, and dad opens the door. So this is a really great part of the movie, and it's kind of a turning point in the movie, because at this point, up to this point, it was going to be a movie where there was going to be a huge kegger at this house. But from this point on, everything changes, and we'll go on with the movie now. Okay, this is a baseball field where Mitch was pitching a game and where he had his encounter with the seniors. Basically what happened, he was at the end of the game, he was doing really well, and basically had one more person to strike out, and once he struck him out, the game was over. Now, right before the last pitch, a couple of his teammates came up to him and said, "Hey, could you do us a favor? When you leave, can you go exit out on the right field exit there? That'll lead them all the way, and we can all get the rest of us can get away." And he agrees to do that. And all the while that that's happening, the seniors are behind those backstops right there, taunting him and heckling him and stuff like that. And like I said, eventually the game is over. He wins the game. They continue mocking him, and as all his friends take off and go the opposite direction, Mitch heads out to the right field gate over there with the seniors following him, and well, he gets his hazing out there in the parking lot. I'll show you that in a second. All right, this is pretty much the view that the seniors would have had when they were heckling Mitch out there on the pitcher's mound, and when he ultimately headed off to the back gate there. There was one point where, while the team was filing into the dugouts there to get off the field, and the seniors were back here heckling them, that they were banging their paddles on the roof of the dugout here, and you know, just to try and be more intimidating. But eventually they follow Mitch down to this exit over here, and Mitch comes out this exit right here and proceeds out into the parking lot here, where basically he gets pummeled. Now, it was interesting when I was watching the movie a little bit. It looked to me like there was only one row of parking places, and then there was like a rise above it. But then when you look at it from another angle, you can see parking places back there, and it now looks like there probably was a rise there, but they put the wall up here at one point to retain all of that. But yeah, this is where Mitch got it, right here. Now, unfortunately, all of the gates going onto the field are locked, so I wasn't able to get in there. It would have been fun to show you the shot from the field, but you know, sometimes these sports stadiums, they kind of want to keep everything locked so that we don't have people in here messing up the field, because unfortunately that's a reality. All right, another one of the key locations of the movie was this Top Notch burger place. There's kind of a lot of things that happen in this kind of little minor scenes and stuff like that. Some of the other kids are kind of hanging out here, not knowing exactly what they're going to do to party, but they're having some food, and they've gone to get what was it they said? Sorting through jalapeno burgers and soggy fries. So this was another scene that was kind of used over and over again. A lot of scenes were shot here. Very, very cool. And since it's actually lunchtime, I think I'm going to go in and have lunch here. I want to see what a jalapeno burger and soggy fries taste like. So I wasn't planning on doing the whole drive-up thing, but apparently they do have a restaurant, and I've never been to a Top Notch, so we're going to have Top Notch for lunch. See you in a little bit. All right, so they got a little bit of memorabilia in here to acknowledge what happened here. They got a copy of the movie. They got the soul pole, and I suspect that that's O'Banion's stick that he broke in front of the Emporium when he got paint dumped on him. So that's kind of cool, right? There's Zeppelin. David Bowie. And then they got one of these little stick your face in here things that's clearly referencing to the movie in here, because you know, the seniors. And yeah, very cool. I don't know if I had somebody to hold the camera, I'd put my head in here or something, but not gonna happen. But did you like the fact that they embraced what they were a part of? So I did eat top notch. The food wasn't actually that bad. I did take the clue from the movie. Had the jalapeno burger and the fries. The jalapeno burger was decent. The fries weren't soggy. Maybe I ordered them wrong. Maybe I should have ordered soggy fries. But it was the food actually wasn't too bad. So I would definitely check this place out again. And until then, I think we're going to head off to the next location. All right, this is Mitch Kramer's house. Mitch is kind of the key character in the movie, and the truth is we only see this house a couple times. The first time we see it is after Mitch has gotten his wax after the baseball game, and Randall Floyd brings him home. And then later on, they come and pick Mitch up again, and there's kind of a scene of Mitch running out the door to the car here. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, we see Mitch go into the house once again as his new girlfriend is bringing him home for the night. So, yeah, that's Mitch's house right there. All right, this is the location of the Emporium. This is kind of where the kids all hung out after the keg party got ruined at Pickford's house. And so a lot of the movie was, a lot of the last half of the movie was filmed here. In fact, I was looking at this plaque here on the wall as I was kind of scoping this place out, and says it's a Violet Crown Shopping Center, Austin's first shopping center, built in 1951 by Clarice McCullough and Dr. Joe Koenig. Site of filming the movie Dazed and Confused in 1993. So yeah, this was definitely the Emporium. In fact, there's a scene where one of the cars kind of drives in the parking lot over here, drives past the building before coming up on the Emporium here. And so this was a major part of the rest of the movie here, because this is where a lot of what happened afterwards, including the revenge against O'Banion, because that happened literally right across the street, and we're going to talk about that in a second. It's also where the nebula, the beginning of the party at the Moon Tower, which of course was a big part of the end of the movie. But let's talk about O'Banion and getting revenge on him. So walking around a little bit with some of his friends, Mitch was talking about how Hirschfeld has just gotten beat bad. And he knew that O'Banion was in here, and that O'Banion wanted to get Carl. And because Carl was part of the incident with the shotgun incident when his mother pulled the shotgun on O'Banion. So O'Banion definitely wants to get Carl back. And so what ends up happening is Mitch tells one of his friends, a girlfriend in there, that to help set up O'Banion. And so the girl basically walks past O'Banion with one of her friends, and she said, you know, just so he can hear, did you hear that they're getting Carl outside? And O'Banion runs out and has to get Carl, and basically they've captured him across the street over here in front of this building right here. And Carl is leaned up against this sliding glass door there on the ramp a little bit. You can kind of tell with the weird odd shape of the windows. And Carl is up against the wall, and O'Banion comes in and says, oh, nobody's got any licks on him yet, right? No, he was the first one. And so as he's winding up and getting ready to take his swing, all of a sudden something hits him from above, and it turns out that Hirschfeld and Mitch are up on top of the roof there with a bucket of paint, and they basically dump a big bucket of paint on him and get their revenge. And this makes O'Banion so mad that he just can't contain himself. He's screaming profanity, yelling at anyone that gets in his way, and ultimately ends up running back across the street, hopping into his car, which is right here in this first place, and getting so angry that he drives all the way through here and takes off out of here with everyone kind of laughing at him. And so that was sort of the end of O'Banion, because the joke about O'Banion was that he had flunked high school and had to repeat high school again. So it was kind of a joke. Everyone thought that he got to be the jerk 2 years in a row. And so when Mitch and his buddies got revenge on him, that was basically the end of O'Banion. We don't see him anymore in the movie. His character is basically completely blown out, and he's been completely humiliated, and that's the end of him. All right, so there's one more basic scene that's tied to the Emporium here, and that is when one of the seniors, who's starting to kind of warm up to Mitch a little bit, gives him some money and sends him over to the liquor store to pick up a six-pack for him. And so he runs over it, and it turns out the liquor store used to be over here, but it's not anymore. It's gone. But we're going to show you where it was, because one of the things I like about some of these movies, and I know it's just done for a convenience standpoint, but I like it a lot when movies are actually set up in such a way that you can come to the location and say, okay, yeah, here's where I'd go to under these circumstances. And this is the case here because, like I said, the Emporium's there, the place where O'Banion gets his comeuppance is here. The liquor store used to be here, and in fact the place where Hirschfeld got busted is just around the corner over there. So this is the location of what used to be the Centennial liquor store. This is where Mitch went to pick up a six-pack, and this was the scene where as he's getting ready to check out, there's the clerk in the store is giving a pregnant woman advice on how to take care of her baby, how she has to eat a green thing every day to take care of her baby, and all the while he's selling her a bottle of Jack Daniels and a six-pack and a pack of cigarettes. So that was kind of one of the little ironic scenes here, and that happened right here. Like I said, the building was torn down years ago, and it's just been a parking lot ever since. All right, this is another great location. You can actually see this cross street in the movie Wild and Ruth. And three of the boys, Mitch, Carl, and Hirschfeld, are walking down the street here. It's dark out, and all of a sudden O'Banion pops out with his buddies and start chasing the boys down the street. Now, the kids make the decision, since there's only one vehicle and three of them, that they're going to scatter. And so Mitch and Carl take off this way, and Hirschfeld takes off over here, and the high schoolers go after them and chase Hirschfeld down to this point where he runs into this chain link fence here. In fact, in the movie, you can still see these racks that are here right now. You can see them in the movie, and basically Hirschfeld gets beat right here with his he's up against the fence, and the high schoolers are beating him senseless with their sticks. And as that's happening, Carl and Mitch are kind of hiding in some of the bushes over here. I don't know if this house was here at the time of the movie, but they're sitting there watching it and just kind of stunned with the brutality that's all taking place in front of them, and knowing that they're going to get it next. And then, of course, after the beating, O'Banion and the rest of the high schoolers return to their car. They open up the trunk. The trunk's filled with beer, and a couple of girls show up behind him, park behind him, and says, "Who's that kid?" "Oh, just some kid who shouldn't be out here around the rec center." They give him give the girls a couple beers. They give Hirschfeld a beer, and Hirschfeld just kind of takes off this way with his kind of tail slumped between his legs, and the scene is over. Now, there's one other little part of the scene that I thought was kind of funny that I've picked up now that I've recognized the location, and that is while O'Banion and the high schoolers are drinking the beer out of the trunk of the car, a vehicle comes down this way and makes some obscene statements towards the girls, and they just kind of argue back and forth. But I thought it was kind of interesting because there's not really a way that there could be any cars coming this way because this is a dead end down here. But that's okay. It's one of those things you have to ignore in movie. It's called the suspension of disbelief. But yep, this is where it happened, right here. All right, this is Ballards Grocery Store, and after they've been out hard night cruising and playing trash can mailbox baseball, they come here to get some beer and some wraps, some stuff like that, and basically they come through the parking lot and land right here beside the store. And Dawn kind of convinces everybody that they're going to go in and shoplift everything, but and that they need Mitch as a lookout. And so while Mitch is standing outside here watching, being the lookout, Don goes in and pretends to heist the beer. And as he's running back out to the car, they get here, hop into the car, and about the same instant, a guy comes driving through with a car, calls in behind him, and gets out and starts pointing a gun at them. And they say, well, just pay for the beer. It's like, I did pay for the beer. And all of a sudden the guy with a gun admits that it was his mailbox that had been destroyed when they were playing trash can baseball. And he's threatening to shoot them, and he's called the police because it's a federal offense to mess with a mailbox. And they make the decision just to take off running, and they take off that way, and knocking the man over, and he runs out in the middle of the street and starts firing him at him as they take off down the street here. Definitely a very, very cool scene. Okay, this is the Walter E. Long Park in Austin. This is where the party at the Moon Tower took place. The keg party at the end of the movie. Now, I'm not sure exactly where it is, and the people I was talking to and researching all this just said it happened in and around the park here. But I've looked at some of the areas back here. It's pretty thick vegetation back there, so I don't think it's immediately in this area. And it clearly isn't out in this area here. There's way too much light out here. Too few trees. It was a lot more thick vegetation in the movie. Also, I don't have the advantage of being able to look for a moon tower because there isn't actually a moon tower out here. The moon tower that they used in the movie was just like a 10-foot segment of it that they used for filming. Supposedly, the moon tower itself is based on a similar tower that exists in another park. But like I said, the movie was filmed here, but the moon tower was not here. Now see, this area looks a little less densely vegetated, so I mean this could have been like right where it is right here. You know, there's plenty of like little places to get back here and have a drink and get high and whatever you're gonna do. So this could very well have been kind of the area back here. Obviously there have been some people back here that have had the same idea. But like I said, when I was looking in that area over there, there was no way that I could have walked around out back here the way I am now. So, I don't know, this could very well have been like the area where the party was. You know, all you had to do is just have a little bit of area there where people can kind of walk around and hang out. So, I don't know, here or someplace like it. Kind of looks like the area from the movie though, right? This of course would have also been the area where Mike had his encounter with Clint. You may recall in the movie he was just walking by Clint and some of his buddies and said, somebody's taking some reefer, and Clint took offense by that, threatened to beat him up, and at the end Mike got away with it, but just kind of got the feeling that if he didn't do something about it, he was going to, you know, go down in life just being an ineffectual nothing. And he kept working himself up and getting more and more drunk. And, well, eventually he goes and pours a beer on Clint's head and gets the snot beat out of him. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, when he's trying to rationalize what happened, he says, oh, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't say I completely got beat up. I mean, you know, when you hear about a Jackson Pollock or an Ernest Hemingway, they never talk about who got in a fight. They just said he got in a brawl. But yeah, I'm sorry, Michael, you got your butt kicked. All right, this is as close as I can get to this scene. This is a football field that was used at the end of the movie after the party at the Moon Tower began to wear down. All the beer kegs were empty and all that. A couple of the characters, Randall Floyd and Dawn and then Slater and a couple of girls all went out here to have what they call a joint subcommittee meeting on the 50-yard line. And they got out there basically where the orange is in the middle there, smoked a big fat joint, and were just hanging out having a good time until the police showed up. And the police basically showed up over there, called them over, and they had to go out. And this is also where they met the coach who was trying to convince Randall that, you know, he needs to separate himself from these bad influences because he's the one with something to lose. And I'm going to go over there and we'll see where they came out of the gate, and we'll pick it up from there. So this is kind of the scene from the movie here, taken from the position of when they came off the field. So they would have been way out there in the middle, and they would have come basically this way. Now, all of this wrought iron gate work was not here before. There was just a chain link fence, taller I think than the one that was in there, so that must have been the inner fence, and then there was probably an outer fence along here, and there was sort of a door over there, and it was there was enough of a gap in it that the kids could squeeze between it, and that's where they ran into the police for the first time. And later on, that's also where they ended up talking to the coach, and the coach tried to make his plea to have Randall get his act together and be a little bit more serious. So assuming the layout is anything like it was 30 years ago when the movie was shot, the characters would have come up here, walked up this little incline here, and would have come out here. Here's where the gate is that opens up, and like I said, it was a chain link fence at the time, not this wrought iron stuff. And this here is where Randall would have met the coach. The coach would have parked his truck right here and proceeded to chew out Randall for not taking his football duties seriously. This is where Randall tells the coach that, you know, I may play ball, but I will never sign this. And he throws it at him, and that's sort of the end of it. Goes off and enjoys the rest of their day. So I don't know, I enjoyed kind of seeing this stuff. This was a lot more than you know, a lot of filming vlogs I've done in the past, because there were so many scenes in this that I was really sure, you know, that I could absolutely track down where it was, and know where all the buildings were and what the addresses were. It was very easy to figure out where all this stuff was. So I kind of enjoyed doing this. Like I said, I love this movie. I've loved this movie for a long time, and it was a lot of fun to be able to see actually where a lot of this stuff was shot. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.